Hello my night wolves and welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we are here with a video of me talking about sleep paralysis. Yes, I am I think many people, not just I don't think it's just like I think it's a handful of people who gets affected by this. But I've had sleep paralysis many times. I did not get sleep paralysis until I was 13 years old. It was around the same time that I got transverse myelitis. So when I first had it, it was pretty damn scary. Okay, so I was 13 years old. I told my mom I was gonna go take a nap, and she's like, okay. So I was feeling tired, and I just got home from school, I'm pretty sure. And I'm like, I'm gonna go take a nap, and mom's like, okay. So I went into my bed, and for some reason, instead of sleeping at the right end of the bed, you really know where your head normally goes, I slept at the end where your feet goes, which I guess it doesn't really matter because a bed, any side of the bed is still a bed. But anyway, so I took a nap, I fell asleep, and I woke up. I knew I was awake. I could hear what's going on. My eyes would not open, like they were closed. I was just sitting there like with my eyes closed, so it looked like I was still sleeping, but I wasn't. My brain was awake, and I could not move my body. My whole entire body was completely paralyzed. And of course, I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I think my transverse myelitis got worse. And now my whole entire body is paralyzed, and not just me being paralyzed from the waist down, it's my whole entire body that's paralyzed. So I, of course, did not know what sleep paralysis. I didn't know what it was. So of course, me 13, freaking out inside my head, like, oh my god. And I'm like trying to call my mom, and I could hear myself whimpering. Like I was trying to talk, but I couldn't even talk. I was just like with my eyes closed, going, like that, pretty much, trying to call for my mom to see what the fuck's going on, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was so freaking terrified. And while I was sitting there sleeping, like in this state, I felt like my body was heavy, like something was sitting on me. It was so weird. And then finally it like lifted, and then I could finally move. I was trying to, like, when I was laying there and trying to talk and whining and stuff like that, I was like trying so hard. I'm like, okay, move your arms, move your arm, move your arm, come on, you can do it. And finally my arm goes and moves, and then that's what broke me out of my sleep that was my first ever experience with it, and it was absolutely terrifying. It really was. And it doesn't happen all the time. It happens like randomly. It'll happen. So my second time it happened, I moved out of my mom's house, and I moved into this apartment complex, and I was sleeping on this couch that I'm sitting on right now with. You can see, oh yeah, you can see rain in the background too. But yeah, so I was sleeping on this couch that I'm sitting on right now recording, and I was tired, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a nap. So I was laying here sleeping, and I woke up, but of course I wasn't fully awake. But I was awake, and it's like my brain was awake, but my body wasn't awake. Like, it's like your brain, you're like, I don't know, it's like so weird. It's like your brain knows that you're awake, but it doesn't like register it to your body that you're awake, so you're like paralyzed. So I'm like sitting here on my couch, and I just remember, I don't know, I don't remember much about this one, but I was just like, oh great, I can't move again. So I knew what it was, so it didn't freak me out as much as it did the first time it happened. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go back to sleep. So I just like, okay, I'm gonna be like this, so I'm gonna go back to sleep. So I just waited until I fell back asleep, and then I fell back asleep, and then I woke up and I could move again. Then it happened again on this couch. I was sitting here sleeping, and I couldn't move. I woke up, but of course my brain didn't tell my body that I was awake, so I was paralyzed. And I heard talking outside my door, and I'm like, oh, someone's at the door. I gotta get up and get the door. My brain was pretty much tricking me into thinking that I could hear people talking and that someone was at the door, and I had to get up and get it. So I was sitting here trying to move because I could hear people outside, and I thought that it was somebody coming to see me or something. I don't know. So I tried my hardest to get up, and then I finally got up, and then I realized that there was no talking or anything like that. And I even walked over to look in the peephole, and I looked in because I have a peephole where you can peek out to see if anyone's there or if you recognize the person before opening the door, so on and so forth. So I peeked out and there was no one there. So yeah. And then this other time that I had it, I was sleeping in my room on my bed. It's always when I'm taking a nap too. It's like never when I'm like waking up from sleep. It's only like when I'm taking a nap. These are all when I'm taking naps. It's never when I went to bed and then woke up in the morning. It's me when I go to take a nap. So this one, I'm taking a nap, but this time I decided to take a nap in my room. I'm on the bed sleeping, sound asleep, and I woke up paralyzed. And every time when these happen, my body feels heavy because you're because your brain is awake but your body technically isn't, so it feels heavy. So it feels so weird. So I'm like sitting there, and I'm in and out of a dream slash real life. So I'm sitting there dreaming, dreaming slash awake, and I'm in between like reality and dream world, and I'm like, I think my best friend is next to me, but it's in my dream that she's next to me, not in real life, but I think she's in my house next to me sitting on my bed. So I'm sitting there trying to talk to my best friend. I'm trying to say her name. I'm trying to reach out and have her help me. So in my dream, I reached out and I touched her and grabbed onto her. And I try to do that in real life, and normally when I move, it snaps me out of like my paralyzed state. But this time, it didn't, because technically didn't move. It was in my dream that I moved. I reached out and grabbed my best friend in my dream, and I thought I did it in real life, but I didn't. I didn't move yet, so it didn't snap me out of it. So it was such a weird thing. I never had that happen to me, so I was like super confused. I'm like, am I awake or am I asleep? I don't understand. I was so confused about life. And then I heard my best friend tell me to go take a shower in the dream. So I'm like, uh, in my dream, I tried to talk to her to tell her okay or whatever, to respond to her, but I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything. And then I like got up kind of like a zombie. My eyes are still shut, and I'm just like walking weirdly to, like, I was drunk. It looked like I was drunk. And I was walking to the bathroom to go take a shower, and then suddenly I snap out of it and I wake up and I'm like, okay. So yeah, I was in like this weird state of awake and asleep, and I felt like my best friend was right there talking to me, I actually when I grabbed onto her hand, she was holding onto my hand, and I was holding onto hers, and it felt like we were actually holding hands, and I thought that was in real life. But then when I woke up, Becca, obviously my friend obviously wasn't there, but my dream had me stuck in between reality and sleep, so I didn't know which was real. So it was such a weird thing. One other experience, I was sleeping on this couch again. It seems like it happens a lot on this couch. Once, of course, it happened in my bedroom. Sorry, I got an itchy freaking nose and it's bothering the shit out of me. Sorry. I don't mean to keep wiping my nose. It's just because it itches. Ugh. Anyways, so I was sleeping on this couch and I was sleeping. My body felt heavy and I woke up, but my brain obviously was awake, but my body wasn't. And I'm just sitting here, and all I can hear my baby Rue here, my baby Katie, my baby, my sexy man. I could hear him crying in pain. And I'm like, oh my god, Rin is hurt. Rin is, I don't know. I just like started panicking. I'm like, oh my god, my cat, my cat, my cat, my cat, my cat, my cat. I was freaking out. I'm like, body move. And I was trying so hard to get myself to move and to find out what's going on with him, see if he's okay. And finally, I like shot up and I looked and he was just sleeping. Not here. He was sleeping over there near my door. I'm like, okay. So he wasn't hurting or anything. He was just sleeping over by the door because that over there is where the front door is. So he was by the front door sleeping. Are you okay? And he's just like looks at me and then lays back down and goes back to sleep. I'm like, okay, I guess that's okay. So, I don't know. It was freaky. So, yeah, there's different types of sleep paralysis. There we go. I finally said it. I said it at the beginning, and then after that, I couldn't say it. I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyway, so there's different types of sleep paralysis. I know that it's different for everybody. Me, I feel like something is like on me. Like my body feels absolutely heavy, and like it's like you could tell that you're not awake, but your brain is awake. And it's so weird because your brain's awake, but your body's not. And you can feel that your body's not awake. So that's what makes it like you paralyzed. It's because your body is not awake, but your brain is. But because your brain's not, your brain didn't register, like, shove the, like, singles or whatever down to your body to register that you're awake, so your body's just like, oh, we're still in sleep mode, so we're just gonna stay sleeping, and your brain is like, oh yeah, she is awake. What was I supposed to do again? Oh yeah, I was supposed to send the singles down to her body to say that she's awake. For everybody, it's different. Some people see things and hear things and stuff like that. Me, I haven't seen anything. Normally when it happens, my eyes are still closed. They're not open. I did have one experience. I think it was the one when the door was, I could hear talking at the door, but there was no one at the door. That one, my eyes were open because I remember I was staring up at the ceiling. So yeah, sometimes when it happens to me, my eyes are closed so I don't see anything, but except for that one time, I was looking up at the ceiling and I was hearing voices outside my door. So there's different things. People see things, people hear things. So, some scary stuff actually happens with people, like they'll see like demons or something staring at them or something like that. I'm hoping nothing like that ever does happen to me, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, these are the ones that I can remember. I'm pretty sure those are all the sleep paralysis that happened to me. It, like I said, it doesn't happen very often. It happened only a few times for me. And the one that scared me the most was definitely the one where I could hear my cat, my baby, getting hurt and he wasn't getting hurt, and I'm like, what the actual hell was that? And I was so happy to see that he wasn't okay. I was happy that he was okay. Did I say I was happy that he wasn't okay? Am I okay? No, I was happy that he was okay, and it freaked me out so badly because Rin, has some problems. Like, one time he choked on his own hairball. He was trying to cough up a hairball, but he couldn't get it up, so he was choking on it. And I was gonna call the hospital to see, the animal hospital, to see what I can do here at home to get the hairball up because I didn't know what to do and whatnot. And the girl just answered the phone and he spit up the hairball. And I'm like, oh, thank God. And she's like, what happened? And I told her what happened. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, well, keep an eye on him. And if something else happens, just, we're here. We're open 24/7. I'm like, okay, thank you. And we hung up. I watched him for the whole night, and he was fine after he coughed up that hairball. But it was so scary to actually see a cat who was supposed to be coughing up a hairball choke on his own goddamn hairball because he couldn't get it up. It's gotten a lot better I managed to control his hairball, but like it was scary when he couldn't cough up a freaking hairball. But yeah, anyways, we're getting off track, obviously. That was definitely the scariest. The one where my baby was getting hurt was hearing him crying out in pain and having a dream make that dream, like, I don't know, I think it's like we are stuck in like reality slash a dream state, so they collide and it makes like scary things happen and make you hear things and stuff like that. So it's like a weird state to be in. First time it ever happened was also very scary. I ended up in the hospital with transverse myelitis, and I think I wasn't even out of the hospital that long, and that happened, and that was absolutely terrified. I have a fear of my being paralyzed. Like, I have issues with, like, if anyone, like, if I see anyone get hit in the back or anything happen to somebody's back, like in a show, I legitimately cannot handle it. It freaks me out, and I'm just like, I just sit there like this, like, ugh. One time, like, when we were watching this funny show where this guy fell flat on his back, I'm like, oh my god, it's not even funny, because like any hit to the back could end up with you being paralyzed. And I don't know. I just have this thing with my back. So when that happened, I legitimately thought like, oh my god, I'm actually paralyzed and I'm gonna be stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And it scared me to death. So yeah. Anyways, that is pretty much it. I just wanted to tell you guys my my sleep paralysis stories, and there you guys have it. That's all of them. If I have any more in the future, I will let you guys know. I hate them, but I kind of like them. I don't know. It's weird. I know. I just find it interesting how your body, like your brain, is awake, obviously, but your body doesn't register the fact that it's awake. So I find that interesting. So yeah. Anyways, I'm weird. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Leave down in the comments your sleep paralysis story. I would love to read them, see how scary they can get. I know that some people do have very scary sleep paralysis stories. So yeah, if you have one, leave it down in the comments below. I would love to read it. Ring that bell if you want to see more videos from me. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll see all you beautiful night wolves in the next video. Goodbye. Love is all we'll